Okay, let's move into Q&A while people look at that as well. And I've got them coming from different directions to me. So first of all, Nahim, now you were talking about King Abdullah Finance District. That was a multi-building digital twin. And how far along is it, and when will it start being used as a full product in terms of for all of the buildings?
Correct. So the King Abdullah Financial District is quite a substantial development consisting of a mixed-use scheme, offices, retail, residential, so forth. In terms of the current status that we're at, we're really just digitizing. We've done our assets and facilities for 11 operational parcels. That's probably a very small amount of the parcels that still need to be done. There's still probably 47 plus, which we really want to get digitized in the next phase. So that could still take us another couple of years, maybe 24 months, etc. But again, at the same time, we're digitizing and we're using that data to operate and maintain. And it's not just about creating the digital twin, but also the infrastructure across the district to ensure that we can feed in all of that information. So it still may take us a few years to get to a fully fledged digital twin.
Okay, right. And then I have a question here. Now, this is a slightly complicated one for me to read out, so please bear with me. I think it's mainly directed at Wassim, but maybe if others can also answer this as well, please do also leap in. An area-based hierarchy is usually more suited to constructual vis-a-vis a schedule. I assume we also develop a systems-based hierarchy in the twin from early on to aid systems completion tracking or management through to and including commissioning. Do you need me to read that again?
Well, let me try to answer it. So if I understand properly, you're talking about the structure of the digital twin. And so usually we start by what we call the plan hierarchy, also the WBS of the plant, right? So this is part of the assessment phase and the planning phase of the implementation of digital twin, and we include it in the FDS. So how we start first, we start to define the goal of the digital twin, what we want to use digital twin for. Is it just for, because like also the digital twin, as I said, there are big list of solutions, and each solution is what was require like a specific budget, right? And specific goals. So if you want to have autonomous operations, it's different just to limit digital twin for the construction. So talking about the structure, right? So we start by the WBS and start first to define the goals, and based on the goals, we start by the WBS, and then we start to map like the informations, whether like by plant, unit, area, systems, and tag. And then we can drill down, we can group this information in different ways. And because it's digital, right, the beauty of digital twin is like the data is structured by taxonomies and by tags. So you can retrieve the information in different ways. You don't need to stick like with a conventional way, like it's not like a folder where you can put here or follow the specific structure. You can manipulate with data, and you can like group them by system, by unit, by plant, based on your needs. So, which is the same concept right now in all information management, and which is defined currently in the CFOS standards.
Okay, and then we have another question here, which I'd like to make an open question. I think probably Amit, Nahim, it might also be appropriate for you, and Paul, you've probably got a view from a different direction, and obviously Wassim as well from the contractor's view. So do you think it's appropriate to use this technology, so digital twins, at the pricing stage without a guarantee of winning the tender? What's the price range for providing this service, and what initial data is needed to provide a model embedding time?
Yeah. Okay, so I will take this question. You know, it all depends on what kind of project that we are wanting to deliver. If it's a repetitive project, then it's easier. You can use some of your old information data bank to quickly develop. But if, you know, typically the projects that we deliver are unique in nature, one-time kind of information. So obviously for that kind of a project, it's a very extensive exercise. It might need a couple of months and a lot of interface with external market to get the data in place. So it would be difficult to implement it in the initial stages for projects which are first time built. But for repetitive projects, yes, it could be very handy in terms of estimation and planning and engineering and all other aspects of project.
Okay, anybody have anything to add to that?
I just want to add, like we have a different approach, right? We don't want the digital twin just to be at later stage. As I said in my presentation, it's highly recommended that start digital twin implementation in very early stage, because this is the foundation. So then in every life cycle and in every milestone, the new stakeholders will use this digital twin for a proper estimation, for a proper construction of the scope, and to ensure quality, and later on for operations. So we really recommend the implementation of the digital twin at very early stage, because the efforts required when you get late of the implementation in the last cycle of the project, it will be much higher from starting at the beginning of the project. And the cost definitely will be totally different.
Okay. Paul, did you have something to add?
I guess I take a view that, again, a lot of the customers that we work with would say that there is no extra cost for implementing a construction digital twin, because it's really just around implementing best practice processes and using those to do what they all need to do on a project. So deliver a project on time and on budget. And a lot of construction firms increasingly are saying, actually, it costs us more if we don't implement a construction digital twin. So when you're looking at the example, that I quote the example of Ryan companies in the US, they said they take 4 weeks off their schedule for every 8 months of construction time. So that's a huge saving. I talked to a contractor in the UK a couple of weeks ago. It was costing them £250,000 a week to be on site. So for hiring the equipment, the offices, the people, the systems, and just the activities, subcontractors. So saving a month, it's £1 million off the schedule by using a digital twin. So they look at that and say, we might spend a bit of money on some software, a bit of training, a bit of downtime for practice and whatever, but it's dwarfed by the savings. So it's increasingly they're saying there is no extra on cost.
Okay.
Totally agree.
Another question here to the team, where the person makes quite clear. What are the additional resources a contractor might need to implement a digital twin in addition to the normal delivery and drafting process? Are clients interested in making digital twins part of the contractual requirement?
So I'll jump in just quickly on that. So I guess the second part first, yes, we're seeing lots of contractors and clients wanting to or to specify a digital twin delivery process and to hand over a digital twin for asset operations. In terms of the extra resources required, the thing that I really like about construction digital twins is that generally there are no extra resources. So at its simplest level, if we think about, again, several presenters today have talked about 4D, so taking 3D models and adding the element of time. What we do is we take a 3D model that the design team create anyway, we link that to a schedule that the planners are creating and working with, and we add resource data, so cost and labor information that's coming from a number of existing sources. And all we do is we mash that together, we bring that together intelligently, and we create that 4D set of construction information. So, and that's generally something now that the planners themselves do. So the schedulers and planners increasingly take that 3D content, link it to a schedule, and create the 4D content. And as I saw on the one as Abil, that their 4D process, that's most of their savings came from using just basic 4D processes. So using existing information and reusing it in a smart way.
Okay. Any additional comment to that?
Well, I can add to that. Definitely digital twin, right? It's not like a plug and play, right? It's not a software, it's a process change. It's like you need a team definitely dedicated to understand what we are trying to achieve by implementing digital twin, right? And why I'm saying that, we have seen many failed digital twin projects, right? More than 70% failed to achieve their goals because this is, again, it's not one solution that fits all purpose. It needs to be customized to address the exact need of the client. And second is like there is a big effort required to map tags, and I'm talking about here more in oil and gas and energy, like to map the information, the tags. When you have, let's say, more than 5,000 tags in a project, you need to map all of these to the 8 dimensions. It's not simple, definitely, but the efforts, we develop always ROI to, to check the efforts that you put, the cost of the digital twin implementation against the return of investment. And we've seen like it's a huge ROI compared to the efforts that you put. Yes, the efforts is required, resources, yes. And I highly recommend that every company wants to implement a digital twin to get experts to implement it. Our team actually is playing this role for many clients. So to be between the contractor and the client to select, like if they don't have the capabilities, we can cover all of these for them to make sure a successful delivery of digital twin solutions.
Okay, thank you. And that will bring us to the end of this particular segment. No surprise, I think, to anybody. We had a very simple question on the poll this time about if people were planning or companies were planning to use a digital twin, and just shy of 60% have said yes, it's definitely in the plans, 30% maybe, and only 8% no. I think we probably all expected that most people would say they were planning to use a digital twin. So not a great surprise there, but good to see. We'll have a short break now.